Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to discuss, compare, contrast, maybe give a little mini review of two different traditional slip joint knives. First one, the Case Trapper. This is the standard trapper in amber bone, has the carbon blades or the chrome vanadium blades as the case steel is called. And then we have a Great Eastern Cutlery. This thing is not going to focus. Great Eastern Cutlery American Jack, and this is in blood red jig bone. It's the Northfield unexcelled version. Basically, I wanted to put these two knives out because these are my first two traditional slip joints, and I wasn't really sure what to get, basically. You know, I did some research online, and of course, Case comes up. My grandpa had a Case when I was a kid. He had the, well, I think he had a Case. From what I can determine, it was a bone-handled knife that was very similar to a Case Trapper. And it stands to reason, you know, just playing the averages, that somebody of my grandpa's age probably would have had a Case at one point. And of course, if you don't know, GEC is a brand new company. I believe they started making knives in 2006, and they've kind of taken the traditional knife world by storm. And so there's a lot of debate as to which knife is a better value for the money. Obviously, the Case is a lot cheaper. This one I got for $42 off Amazon. Sight unseen, which kind of worried me. I wasn't sure what I was going to get. And this was around, I think you can get these new for around $100 if there's any of this pattern left. One thing about GEC is they make very limited numbers of their knives. So basically, these are kind of two opposite ends of the spectrum. They're both American made, both traditional slip joint knives, but I just kind of wanted to roll the dice and see how each of them were going to stack up to each other. I figured that the GEC was going to be nice just based on reviews, what I'd read online. And the Case, I wasn't sure about. Some people seem to think that recently the quality of the Case knives isn't up to snuff compared to how they were in the 70s and 80s. Other people are saying that actually the quality control has gotten better in recent years. So I just ordered one randomly online. I knew which model I wanted, I knew which color I wanted, and I just wanted to see, you know, what I was going to get. Basically, for $42, this is a really nice knife. I don't know if you can see at all in the video, but there's a little bit of a gap here between the brass liner and the back spring. Just a little bit. Pretty flush all the way through. In the closed position, this middle brass liner sticks out just a little bit, just barely. I don't know if you can see any of this. My camera doesn't want to focus properly. Come on, buddy. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Open on the main blade. Again, it's a little recessed, just a tiny bit. The spay blade, it's a tiny bit proud when it's open, but not bad at all. In terms of the cover, really nice, really flush everywhere, flush to the bolsters. Basically, for $42, it's very well constructed, and you can see the blade centering. The spay blade is pretty much dead center. The main blade is a tiny bit off, but it doesn't rub or anything, as far as I can tell. Doesn't seem like there's any scratches. You might notice the patina on these blades. I actually forced patina on these with vinegar, just to kind of try it out. Wanted to see how it looked, and I actually think it looks pretty cool. So basically, the build quality of this Case was not bad at all. I was actually very impressed for $42 again. Spring strength, it's got some good snap, decent, not overly strong pull. But yeah, I think it looks pretty damn nice. The GEC, kind of a different realm in terms of fit and finish. There isn't a single gap whatsoever in the back spring here. It's absolutely perfect, absolutely flush when closed. This main blade, absolutely flush when it's open. You can see I've got a kind of nasty patina going on there. I was cutting up an apple. Looks kind of gross, but whatever. It's got this really nice pen blade that is just beautiful. Absolutely love it. The grinds on these GEC blades are quite a step above the case, I have to say. I don't know if you can get the detail of this, but there's this beautiful swedge on this main clip blade, long pole. Grind is just absolutely beautiful. If it weren't all screwed up with that patina, you'd be able to see a little better. But I've been carrying this around for a couple weeks, so it's got some scratches, got some signs of use on it. So I have to say, in terms of the blade grind, GEC, definitely nicer than the case. The pole, my lord, this one is strong. I don't think a child could open this knife. If you're worried about a little kid getting a knife and shoving it into his eyeball, this one he would not be able to open. I know some full-grown men who could probably not open this knife, but just listen to that. Bam! Beautiful. Half stops as well, which the case does not have. So that's just a nice little added feature. There's a flat part on the tang, so when it's open halfway, it stops. So if you're, I don't know, gutting something, and it pushes the knife, it's going to stop right there, so it's not going to cut your little fingers off. That's a nice feature. I love this jigging pattern. It is absolutely beautiful. I'm not sure exactly what they call that. And the shield is really nice. Everything, fit and finish wise, is just absolutely beautiful. I had some people had said that apparently the GEC knives, there were issues where the bolster hits the cover, that sometimes you could grab it. You can hear that, but that's actually just the fluting on this bolster. That's not the seam here. It's perfectly flush. It's absolutely perfect. Just as good, if not better, than the case. Of course, the case is pretty good too. Their fit and finish is pretty nice. The only issues with this was just the gaps in the back spring, and it's not totally flush. In terms of just use, I think I prefer this GEC a little bit. Whoa, the lighting just got really weird in here. This one is 3 3/4 closed. Come on, focus, buddy. Focus! You're not going to focus. All right. Don't focus. This is 4 1/8 closed, and this has nothing to do with the quality. Obviously, they're just two different patterns. I think I prefer this as a general carry knife. This one is not overly large, though. It just doesn't disappear into the pocket as easily as the GEC, especially if you wear tight pants like I do. This fits perfectly into the watch pocket on my Levi's, and works quite well. Basically, the packaging for both of these, this is what the case knife comes in. Just a basic little box. You can see the pattern number and everything there. It's the 54 Trapper. I don't know if all of you know the numbering system on the cases, but basically the 6 is the handle material, bone. 2 is the number of, or no, wait a minute, that's wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't remember. Can't remember if the 6 is, if the first number is the handle material or the blade style. I can't remember. 2nd is how many blades. 2, 54 is the pattern, and then CV is chrome vanadium. Their chrome vanadium steel is quite nice. I actually sharpened both these knives up when I got them. I do have to say, both of these knives out of the box, dull. Not very sharp at all. It seemed as though the case was ground at like a 15-degree edge, but it wouldn't even cut paper when I got it. Actually, I think the Spay blade would cut paper slightly, but it still just kind of ripped through it. So I had to spend quite a while on my Spyderco Sharp Maker on both of these babies, and I actually reprofiled this to 20 degrees, just as all-purpose, but now these will shave. In fact, I've managed to shave most of the hair off my inner arm when I was sharpening both of these babies. But this will pop hair now. And so the chrome vanadium steel is a carbon steel, and it's very, once it's reprofiled, it's very easy to sharpen and seems to hold an edge pretty well. Got a nice mirror edge on there. I don't know if you can see. I really like the contrast between that and the forced patina that I put, which basically was just white vinegar, by the way. Left it in for about 45 minutes. The GEC was also pretty damn dull, I have to say. This was profiled probably closer to 50 degrees inclusive, so maybe 25 aside. And again, I had to work on this for quite a while to get it to 20 degrees. And now this baby is sharp as heck as well, though, and also holds a nice edge. I have to say one major difference, which I really appreciate. If you compare the GEC, I don't know if I can get these both in here, and the case, is that going to show? Hold them both together. You can see the point. The GEC has a sharp point. The case has kind of a rolled point. And apparently that has something to do with when they actually buff their blades. The GEC, they have a little guard on the tip of the blade as it's being manufactured. It's basically to protect the point. The case, once the blade is punched out, they throw it in a giant drum filled with, I don't know if it's walnut shells or something, to basically to buff it out. And so it gets kind of tumbled around and it ruins the point a little bit, which isn't a huge deal. I'm not going to be stabbing anything with this, obviously, but I don't know. The blade geometry on this GEC is just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. And there's just, you know, some upgrades. You've got these fluted bolsters or rat tails. I don't know what you want to call those. It's just a little bit a cut above, well, more than a little bit of a cut above the case. But basically, you're not going to go wrong with the case either. This was just one where I randomly chose. I didn't pick this out by hand or anything. I just ordered it online. It showed up, and I'm perfectly happy with the quality. Nothing wrong with it at all. I guess since we talked about how the case is packaged, or we didn't even get all the way into that. Basically, you just get this box. You've got product quality information, Español, information sobre. Just has some info there. Comes wrapped in this little tissue paper here. Pretty basic, nothing too fancy. GEC is pretty cool. They come in these cardboard tubes as such. You'll have the model information there. 781214. Is that EC? I don't know what the hell that is. 78 is the pattern. It's the American Jack. 1 is the style of the main blade, a clip point. 2 is how many blades, and then 14 is the year. It was made in 2014. Cranberry red jig bone. Pop this baby open, if I can. A little bubble wrap in there. And the knife comes wrapped in this wax paper, which is kind of cool. It reminds me of, like, I don't know, getting old machine tools or ball bearings or something like that. It has this nice greasy smell when you open it up. On a whole, 2 very nice knives. If I had to pick between the two, I'd pick the GEC, but the GEC costs twice as much as the case. Is the GEC twice as good as the case? No, I don't think so. I definitely like it more, but the case is no slouch, and for $42, it is a really good value, I think. I know that maybe some people might get an example that isn't that good, and if that's the case, from what I can tell, you can send them back to them and they will fix whatever issue you may have. So, I don't know, I don't think you can really go wrong for the price. And I use this more for work, and this is more for my just walking around everyday carry. And I'm pleased, very pleased with both. So there you have it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment field. Thanks for watching.